Welcome back to the Homemade Podcast of Sports with your host, Jay Pops. Guys, I hope you all like the intro. And all I got to say is welcome back. And hey, the season starts on Saturday, okay? The season starts this Saturday. We're ready. I'm ready. And guys, I hope you like the intro. But like I told you guys once before, when I came back and I figured it was going to be right before the start of the season, right? I was going to have to figure some things out, right? Because I wanted to change it up. I wanted to change up a lot of things here. And forgive me for not having on the A&M clothing on today. But I just wanted to change it up, man. And I wanted to give you guys something that, you all could gravitate to and, stuff like that, all right? So, number one, hey, for the ones that do not like the hip-hop beat, I'm here to tell you guys, hey, it is what it is, Can't help it. Music is my passion, right? And hip-hop will forever live with me. That beat is so soothing. I love it. I love it to death. So it's kind of like, guys, how can you all go wrong with that beat, And it's so soothing. And it makes you just want to get ready for this podcast and what all, I may have to bring, and what all I'll be talking about and stuff like that. All right. So, guys, I hope y'all are ready for the season. Because I know that I am. Okay. I think this season is going to be a good one. Okay. So I'm ready, baby. I will be out the country, okay, for the start of the 2025 season, or at least hopefully I'll be out the country. But me and my wife will be out the country. We're going out there for a birthday, with some of the friends and family. So I'll be out there in Tulum, Mexico, okay, just having a good old time. But I will be up, right? I'll be able to watch college game then, stuff like that, along with you all. So trust me. I'm gone, but college football will still stay with me, okay? So, on this latest edition of the Homemade Podcast of Sports, guys, what are we talking about on today, right? Like, what are we looking at? That predicted depth chart, okay? Guys, let's talk about this, because I never ever got into the depth chart, right? And I told you guys that I was coming back with this. So just be looking for something to run across your airways, okay? Beginning at the time slot, and this is going to be a tricky one, okay? So I know that Josh Pate usually comes on at about 7. I know that SEC Mike and that SEC podcast with cousin Shane, they all come on at about 6 p.m. if I'm not mistaken, and Shane and Mike does their best to not go past that slot. So I'm gonna have to get a good one, okay? I'm gonna have to get a darn good one. So you guys won't be seeing my podcast until like about 8 p.m., okay? And I think the 8 p.m. time slot should be a perfect one. That should be a good one from going forward. Like, I'm dead serious when I say 8 p.m. I will do my best to hit at that time, okay? I would notify you guys for, when I, do my live shows on YouTube and, stuff like that. So, that's just, just to keep you guys informed. And guys, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube page, please, I suggest that you guys do that now. But also, Twitch, I'm coming to that as well. I'm coming to that very soon, and hopefully this week, okay? So I'll do a couple of live events on that one, and just like I told you guys before, man, it is time for me to step the game all the way up, okay? So shout out to Conroe High School as well. Their season starts on this Thursday, so you guys be ready for that one. Go Tigers, okay? Go Conroe Tigers, sick 'em, all right? But my son, his season starts on Wednesday. All right, so Wednesday is his first official game, and that it's their out-of-conference opponent. Okay, so we will be at the Thursday night varsity game. We're going to try not to miss too many of those this year, but man, when I tell you it gets packed, at these games, it really gets packed at the game. Okay, so guys, we're here. All right, and like I said, man, we're going to talk about that predicted depth chart. All right, so first and foremost, I'm just going to go down a couple of things. All right, so the 2025 depth chart, all right, provides a strong foundation for 2026. All right, and I'm just reading an AI overview of what they have for the definitive 2026 depth chart, that isn't available, by the way. Okay, so this is all an analysis at this point. All right, but the 2025 season depth chart provides a strong foundation, right, for 2026. Okay, we keep returning players like Marcel Reed, which is the quarterback, Le'Veon Moss, which is the running back, Ruben Owens, which is the running back as well. That should be a two-duo monster. Those guys should be elite in that running back unit, okay? But man, that's just to provide a couple of names right there, okay? So offensively, right? And I'm just gonna, speak on these 4 little positions that they have. All right, so Marcel Reed, right? Marcel Reed is the established starter with Miles O'Neal and Jacob Zeno as backups, okay? So that has also been solidified, from my understanding, through Mike Elko when he had his press conference on today. Okay, so going forward, QB2 will be Miles O'Neal. Okay, then Jacob Zeno will take that number 3 role, and after that, I can't remember if it's going to be the freshman, right, that takes that fourth spot. But Marcel Reed and Miles O'Neal behind him, that should be good, and that should feed families, okay? And that should serve a lot of people this college football season. I just feel like Marcel Reed is very underrated. I know a lot of people know about him, but it's a lot of people that doesn't want to believe in the skill set that he has. It's a lot of people that still wants to say, well, Marcel Reed is not a passer. He's not this, he's not that. I'm here to tell you that Marcel Reed is going to be damn good this year. I think we're pretty damn good with Marcel Reed at the starting spot, okay? I've already given my prediction. My prediction, I've changed it at least twice, and I'm sticking with this one. I will predict that Texas A&M will go 11-1 this season. Their only loss will be to LSU, okay? Notice how I did not say Florida. I did not say Texas. I did not say South Carolina, all right? I did not say Notre Dame. Why is because I have total confidence in that defense will be good, right? I'm not looking for those guys to be perfect, but I believe that defense will be good, and that offensive line play will serve nightmares to these defensive lines around the country, okay? I understand that Notre Dame is good. I understand that Texas is good. I understand that Florida is going to be good as well. South Carolina, I'm iffy on those guys. Yes, they have the stud quarterback over there, in which I don't know why I can't remember his name, which is crazy to me. But they do have the stud over there for South Carolina. But also another one, right, Auburn, in which they're starting Jackson Arnold. Okay, I believe A&M rose in there and they beat Auburn. I believe they will beat them. I'm going to also believe that Texas A&M will win against Auburn by a couple of touchdowns. Okay, yeah, they beat them last year. I know this part when they were 5-17. I get that, but I think A&M walked in there and they were sleepwalking. I don't think they're going to do that at Kyle Field. That's just me. I could be totally wrong, but I don't believe they're going to do that. Okay, Lenore Sellers for South Carolina. Okay, I'm so sorry that name had to come back very late. Okay, but Lenore Sellers. A lot of questions that they impose about Marcel Reed, I got those same questions for Lenore Sellers. I don't believe in Lenore Sellers as a passer. Okay, I said the same thing about KJ Jefferson, and I was wrong that year. But after that following year, KJ Jefferson was unheard of. And I'm going to say that again. KJ Jefferson was unheard of that following year. And that following year, A&M beat them. Okay? But it was because of a lot of things over there with them. I don't believe Lenore Sellers is surrounded by good wide receivers. He wasn't surrounded by a good offensive line on last year, and I don't know if that offensive line is all coming back. Okay? But I do believe that A&M is the better team. They were the better team when they walked in there last year. They lost Le'Veon Moss, and I'm going to leave it at that. But if this team stays totally healthy, with most of their players coming in, coming out, showing up week in, week out, and with Marcel Reed starting from day one all the way to finish, I think this team will go ahead and win. That's me. The only reason why I got them losing at LSU is because I haven't seen them. They've won there. They've won there plenty of times, but that was back in the 90s. Okay? So, all right, we keep on going. Running backs, right? Le'Veon Moss, I just mentioned him. He's coming back along with Ruben Owens, right? Le'Veon Moss and Ruben Owens are expected to be the primary duo, right? Supported by a group of talented backups like Amari Daniels, Jamarian Morrow, which is a true freshman, and E.J. Smith. I believe E.J. Smith will be better than what he's been on campus, period. Okay? I don't need to speak about Amari Daniels because I just feel like he's one of the faster running backs. I feel like Ruben Owens is right there with him so far as speed, but I feel like Ruben Owens, man, I honestly feel like he's about to bust loose this year. And I feel like he's going to be on that second team All-SEC running back list. I would give first team to Le'Veon Moss all day long because I just believe that Le'Veon Moss deserves that spot right now. But that running back room, that's one of our strongest suits on offense. A lot of people know that, and I just really think a lot of people are going to load up to try to stop the run. But I think even with that, this offensive line is an NFL offensive line that Marcel Reed and Ruben Owens and Le'Veon Moss will have in front of them this year. Okay? This is a hell of an offensive line, and this is the offensive line that we've been waiting on, since 2020, but this is going to be a way better version of that 2020 offensive line. A lot of people would shoot me down on this, right? But I sat there and I watched the whole 2012 season this month, okay? And I've done some homework. I believe this team has the potential to be not a copy and paste 2012 team because there's no Johnny out there. There's no Mike Evans out there. I believe they can be similar to those guys, okay? And I wholeheartedly believe that. A lot of people will come in here and they'll speak everything about how, oh no, man, come on, man, you don't believe that and blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm here to say that, hey man, you're a total waste of an argument, okay? I'm not going to argue that with you. I said what I said. I do think they'll be good, and I believe that this team will have enough to make a run at the college football playoffs, okay? I believe this team is a dark horse of the SEC, but if I'm not mistaken, they have been picked to win the SEC. They've been picked to go to the SEC championship game this year. They've been picked a couple of times. I know that part. I think this year they get it right, okay? Especially with that running back unit and that offensive unit and that quarterback unit all put together in three, okay? So now we move along. Offensive line, right? The entire starting offensive line from 2025 is slated to return, providing experience and a potential foundation, right, for the 2026 season. This includes Trey Zoom III at left tackle, Chase Bassinis at left guard, and Martin Nabu at center. That's a hell of a tandem that's going to be out there, right? Notice how they didn't say Amar J. Reed Adams, nor did they say Eric Cromer. You add all of those guys into the mix, you got a hell of an offensive line that's out there that's ready to block for you, starting from going from when the game starts to when the game finishes. Okay? This line cannot be talked about how much they're being talked about now for this year, because this is really unheard of. This is all 7 returning starters that were in rotation all coming back. That's a lot of experience on that field, man, for offensive linemen. And if one of these guys does not go down this year, in which God, I ain't going to say God, but I hope they don't, you're looking at this team possibly racking up over 2,000 rushing yards to end the season. Okay, over 2,000 rushing yards, and I'm going to say over about 2,500 passing yards to end the season. A lot of people look and tell you, oh man, well, that ain't going to be enough. I'm here to tell you that's over like 4,000 or 5,000 yards total offense. We don't need 7,000 some total yards. Okay? We're not looking for that. If you give this team the capability to go out there and do about 385 to 400 yards a game, man, that's going to win you at least 9 games in this conference. Okay? So now we move along to the wide receivers, right? The starting lineup is expected to include Mario Craver at the X position, Terry Bussey at the Z position, and Casey Concepcion at the slot. I think this wide receiver unit is way better than last year. Okay? I heard Billy Lucci mention this. And, shout out to Billy Lucci and Amanda, I believe, on Moving the Goalpost. Shout out to those guys. I love that show. I listen to that show all the time. That's a really great show. And shout out to Billy Lucci, right, for bringing some of this information and saying that those wide receivers are going to be better. So it sounds like me and him are pretty much on the same page, okay? And I went back, man, and I looked at that spring game, okay? And in that spring game, Mario Craver made a lot of catches that were contested catches. I looked at Casey Concepcion. He made a lot of catches that were contested, but he also, he couldn't haul it in on some of them, due to our cornerbacks, in which I haven't gotten to, right? But that's going to be a darn good unit that's out there on that field for Texas A&M, man. And I believe by us having these guys, right, and putting these guys all out there on that field, I believe that wide receiver position is going to be A-okay. And last year, right, and no disrespect to those guys from last year, but this group that's coming up for them this year, right, including Terry Bussey, in which Terry Bussey should be in that starting lineup, that's way better than the wide receivers that we've had ever since that 2022 team. And a lot of people can say what they want about the 2022 team. Those wide receivers on that team, which had Chris Marshall, Evan Stewart, what was the other one? I can't even much remember all the wide receivers that was on that team. Anaya Smith, and also Noah Thomas. Those guys were damn good. But notice what I just mentioned, man. Those are 3 freshmen right there alone. Evan Stewart, the other guy that I mentioned, Noah Thomas, and Anaya Smith, and goddamn, man, what was the other one? Chris Marshall. If Chris wouldn't have got kicked off that team, you were looking at a pretty good wide receiver core for Texas A&M. And that's what Jimbo was missing the entire time. So you're talking about putting that receiver core, with Connor Wigman and stuff like that, in which I'm going off subject, so I don't want to go off subject. That was probably by far the most dynamic receiving core that we had here under Jimbo Fisher's team. Okay, and I'm going to say that once again, but turns out none of those guys panned out. Okay, one of them did, but he went on ahead and he transferred to Georgia. Okay, so it is what it is. I believe this receiving core here is better, in my honest opinion. I've seen a couple of the practice clips, but I know that that's nothing but just practice. But going by what I've seen in that spring game, and going by what I've seen from Mario Craver at Mississippi State and Casey Concepcion at North Carolina State, man, those guys are going to be damn good. Okay, and then Terry Bussey alone, he made some damn good catches on last year. And I think a lot of people are underrating him because they just haven't seen it. Terry Bussey is going to be good this year, man. And, I'm just throwing it out there, okay? My heart goes out to our 5-star freshman, Jerome Miles, in which we've lost for the season. Okay, the news came out today. It was a lower leg injury. But Jerome Miles is going for the season, and it was another person in which I'm not sure who the name was, but they're also out for the season. Okay, it wasn't a big name, so to speak, but they're also out for the season. Okay, so prayers go to Jerome Miles for speedy recovery. Okay, and I just want you to know, man, hey, the Aggie fan base is thinking of you. And hey, don't give up. Okay, we're right here with you, We're not going anywhere, so don't give up. Okay. We will see you on next year. All right. It'll probably be before next year. We make the college football playoffs. Okay. In which I'm predicting we will. All right. So another one, man, I did not mention Isaiah Williams. Right. He's the sophomore. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he's a sophomore. And it's another guy that's on that receiving team that's getting talked about a whole lot. Okay? And let me see who that one is. Ashton Belter-Roman. Okay? I've been hearing this name a whole lot. Once again, understand what I'm saying. These guys are going to be damn good, okay? And Kelshawn Johnson, I forgot about him as well. So Kelshawn Johnson, Isaiah Williams, Ashton Belter-Roman, these will be more of your backup wide receiver type of guys, okay? So I just want to, go through a couple of these things, right? So for tight end, from what I'm hearing, tight end number 1 should be Amari Niblack. All right, and just some quick notes on him. Okay, he's the former Alabama and Texas tight end, but he's a true red zone threat. Okay, you didn't really see him at Texas like that because they had Gunnar Helms. Okay, but I believe he's going to be doing good. Tight end number 2 may just be Michael Riley, and then tight end number 3 will be Theodore Milner-Orstrom. Okay, I'm just saying keep these guys in your mind. Okay. All right, make sure that you guys keep that in your notes. All right, so back up to the quarterbacks, right? And I just want to, talk about a couple of quick notes for these guys. All right, so Marcel Reed, like I say, returning starter with mobility and good short to intermediate passing. All right, the only reason that they were saying that Marcel Reed is going to have to work on his passing game is because they want to see the long throws, quite more than often. I'm here to tell you this. Whatever the scripted play is, right, that's just what it's going to be. I think with this offensive line that's going to come back in this wide receiver core that's with Marcel Reed, they all know what he wants to do now. So I think it's going to be a lot of running around. That's why I said, it's going to remind me of that 2012 team. It's going to be a lot of running around. I think Marcel Reed's going to make a lot more plays than often. And you're going to see these guys catching this ball in open space. And you're going to see a lot of them getting open, towards the end zone. So just be ready for that, okay? QB2, like I was talking about, Miles O'Neal. So big arm talent, right? Considered the future of the position, competing for the backup role with Jacob Zeno. But like I just told you guys, he's already solidified that spot. Jacob Zeno, he is the veteran transfer, and he's just providing depth. Something, like could see spot duty, something like that. So just watch out for that. Brady Hart, he's the true freshman, all right, but he's a true freshman with potential. I think Brady Hart will be damn good. You give him a couple of years in this Colin Klein system, I think he'll be good to go, okay? So running back here, man, running back 1, all right? So quick notes on Le'Veon Moss, power back with vision, burst, and about a 6.3 yards per carry in 2024 before he went down with the injury. I don't really need to speak a lot about Le'Veon Moss other than I think he's going to be angry this season, and he's going to channel that anger towards winning, okay? So just keep that in mind. Also running back run because I believe these guys are going to split the carries. Ruben Owens, right? Ruben Owens, the second dynamic change of pace option. Expect to see Ruben in more of those passing situations and where they're going to run a couple of screens with Ruben Owens and Ruben is going to break. That's why I say this team will be fun to watch, okay? Ruben may just remind you of Molina, okay? And he was on that 2012 team as well. He may just remind you of Molina. Molina was also hurt, right? And Molina had to sit down because he was hurt, for at least those 2 years in his A&M career before he saw that field in 2012, okay? So, once again, picture Ruben Owens, picture Molina. Molina was very fast. Ruben is the same way, okay? Amari Daniels, right? He will be another feature back, okay? So just keep this guy in mind. He's a veteran with reliable pass protection and short yardage skills, okay? I think with this offensive line coming back now, I don't think you'll see him get stuffed at the line like you did on last year. All right, so that's me on Amari Daniels. I think he'll be way better. I think his vision is better. Amari Daniels could have went to another team. He could have transferred out, but he didn't. Okay, it's the reason why they all came back, man. And I don't think a lot of people are giving them their credit on that. I'm hearing a lot of people still say 8-4. I just don't see it. I don't see it with this team. Okay, they were all one game away from going to a SEC championship game in which if they would have beat Auburn, they would have been gone. You know, they would have been crowned the number 2 team to go. You know, but they didn't, and it came down to Texas, and they didn't win, but they were still one game away. I don't know how everybody keeps looking past that, but I'm not. Okay, so keep going here. All right. So DeAndre Ridden, right, high upside freshman with burst. I think he'll be good. And Jamarian Morrow, okay, versatile freshman who could contribute early. I think you'll see more of DeAndre Ridden Jr. because I've been hearing about DeAndre a lot, okay. I believe you'll see Jamarian, but it'll be pretty much kind of like when that game is over, and that's really when you should start seeing them anyways. All right, so just keep that in mind. Okay, wide receiver number 1. All right, KC Concepcion, I don't think that needs to be spoken about. He's an elite playmaker with speed and route running ability, projected early NFL draft pick in 2026. If everything goes right in this offense, just like how I'm thinking with Colin Klein, I believe KC Concepcion will go in the first round of the NFL draft. If that young man goes in the first round of the NFL draft, that completely lets you know that Texas A&M done one or two things. They either went 11-1 or they went 9-3. Okay? Remember what I said. Terry Bussey, all right, he's a highly touted athlete. I believe Terry Bussey could do so much, right? He could do so much in this system, being that he played in year 1 a lot. Okay, so I'm expecting to see that guy burst on the scene. All right, Mario Craver, speedy slot receiver. That's why I told you what I told you. Mario Craver is going to be the guy that's running around with Marcel Reed most of that time. Look for Marcel Reed and Mario Craver to connect a lot, man. They're going to connect a lot, okay? Keep that in mind. I want to see that. You're talking about short yardage situations. I believe Mario Craver will be that go-to guy most of the time. I'm excited to see this wide receiver core. I really am, okay? That's it on that one. I already told you about the tight ends, right? So now we get to the more interesting part. Left tackle, right? Left tackle, projected starter Trey Zoon III. Quick notes on him, right? Anchor at left tackle for 3 seasons. Can also play center on the pitch. Trey Zoon will go first round. Remember what I said. That guy, I think they're going to cater to Marcel Reed. Think about that entire offensive line that they had for 2012. I sat there and I watched Johnny stand in that pocket for 5 to 6 seconds looking for people to get over. Until Johnny said, I'm just going to take off running. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane to me. You're going to see that with Trey Zoon. I'm going to say that again. You're going to see that with Trey Zoon. Okay? Left guard, Chase Bacentis. He's a returning starter as well. Thrives in zone schemes. Chase Bacentis was almost transferred out. He came back. Chase Bacentis is a New Jersey guy. He plays like he's from New Jersey, you know, with that general toughness. Not saying that guys from Texas ain't tough. That ain't what I'm saying. But Trey Zoon has that. But Chase Bacentis has that it factor. He's going to be good. He's another one, first round. Okay. Center Mark Nabu, right, returns from a knee injury to retake the starting center role. Okay. I believe he takes that. Mark Nabu is going to be good. That's all you need to hear me say about that one. Right guard, Amar J. Reed Allen. Okay. Returning starter, only allowed 1 sack and 361 pass blocks. Pass block snaps in 2024. Top 2026 NFL draft prospect. He will go in the first round, hands down. he will probably go as a top 15 pick. And if Houston is on the board early, in which if they are, that means they've traded up, because my Texans, they aren't going to be no number one pick for nobody. You could see the Texans take J. Reed Adams. It's like that top 15 overall pick, man. I'm telling you guys what I know. Somebody's going to make a living standing behind him, and it starts with Marcel Reed. That guy is going to block his ass off, okay? That's a damn good pass blocker. And it's not a lot of people that's going to come through a J. Reed Adams. I'm going to tell you that right now. Okay, yeah, South Carolina, if you hear me, I'm talking to you. Okay? LSU, if you hear me, I'm talking to you because I'm hearing how much of your defense is going to be a national championship defense. Florida, I'm talking to you. Auburn, I'm talking to you. If you guys think you're going to get the Marcel Reed that easy, I'm telling you right now, J. Reed Adams is going to be in your face like crazy. Okay? So, look out for that one. Right tackle, Demetrius Crownover, started all 13 games last season and didn't allow a sack. You heard what I said right there. Didn't allow a sack. Let that sink in. This is another guy that's been with this program for 4 years now. All right, this is his 4th season. He's gone after this season. That's a guy that's going to be a day 2 draft pick. He's either going to go in that 2nd or 3rd round in the 2020. Understand that Mike Elko told you what he told you because he wasn't lying. I expect at least 9 to 10 guys to go from off this team this year in the NFL draft. I'm gonna say it again. I expect like 9 to 10 guys to go off this team in the NFL draft. Okay, so backups, right? Ruben Faudery II, reliable backup at tackle. Canoa Fio, right? Started in 12 games at center last season. Can also play ground. I expect him to back up Mark Naboo. All right. And Lamont Rogers, right? He's a true freshman, and he's the future at the tackle spot. I believe that guy's going to be good. Another one that we can't forget about, right? Blake Ivy. He's going to be another one that's used as a depth piece this year because he didn't redshirt. Okay, so you're going to see a lot of these guys, right? If A&M does what I think that they are going to do, you're going to see a lot of these guys in some of these games in like the 3rd quarter, okay? And I believe they're still going to be scoring touchdowns, all right? So you heard it from me first, all right? So defensive line, all right? The defensive line play, the projected starters for these guys, all right? All right, hold on. Let me go to it. Okay. So the projected starters for these guys. All right. 1, Cassius Howard. Okay, defensive end. If anybody thinks that Cassius Howard isn't going to start, then you're crazy. Okay. What does Cassius Howard provide? A tenacity. All right. He's going to be nasty on that defensive line. All right. The guy that's going to be behind him is probably TJ Searcy or Dayan Hayes. Okay, I'm looking at those guys. Another one that could pop up on the radar very early if he does what he's supposed to do. Marco Jones. I'm gonna say that once again. Marco Jones. He's a true freshman. Okay, Rylan Kennedy could pop up in this mix at any time, and this is the depth that Texas A&M is going to play with at that defensive end position. Okay, defensive tackle. DJ Hicks should be your starter. Albert Regis should follow behind him, okay? But then after that, it should be Tyler Onendam. I've messed that name all the way up, okay? But he should be the guy that follows behind him. The guy that I'm looking at, right, that's been there for a long time now, is Jaden Scarlett, okay? What is he going to do? Right, and this is the only position group that has a question mark, but I think they'll be doing good. Okay, so I'm gonna say that once again. This is the only position group that has a question mark, but I believe they will be darn good. Okay, another one right after him is Landon Rink, right, for that defensive tackle spot. He's going to be the true freshman. And also Dalen Evans, okay? He's also going to be a true freshman. I believe you see a lot of these guys get on this field, just like what I told you, in like the third quarter, right, mid-third quarter-ish, if A&M just goes out and does what they're supposed to do. Okay? I think a lot of these guys you're going to see in rotation. Okay? And a lot of these guys are just going to come out there fresh, and they're going to wreak havoc. Okay? So keep that in mind. Linebacker role, right? Outside linebackers, Terrion York. And Scooby Williams, okay? I believe you'll see a lot more of Damian Sanford. That's going to step in and, you know, do a little something. And I also think that you're going to see, I can't think of those guys' last name, but I think you're going to see a lot of faces that you didn't see in that linebacker role just for rotational purposes, right? Keep those legs fresh, keep that body moving, you know, stuff like that, man. But the linebackers, that's one of our strong suits on this team, okay? That is not a weakness. I'm going to say that once again. Anybody thinking that's a weakness, that is not a weakness. The linebacker is our strongest suit on that defensive side of football. Okay. Cornerback roles. Okay. Will Lee will be one of your starters, of course. Des Ricks, I believe he will be another one. Tyreek Chappelle will hold down that nickel spot, right? And I think, look, Tyreek Chappelle and Will Lee, I think it's going to be a battle of those guys going in that first round. If Tyreek Chappelle comes out and does what I think he's going to do, Tyreek Chappelle is going in the first round. If he doesn't go in the first round, he's going early second. Okay, I believe Will Lee, the third, will go in that first round. If he's not first round, he's going to be top of that second. Top of the second. I'm telling you guys that now. Julian Humphrey, right? Julian Humphrey is the guy to key in on. I believe that guy is going to be absolutely good. But you're just going to have to pay attention to what Julian Humphrey is going to do. Another guy, right, that doesn't get talked about much, Javon Thomas. Javon Thomas doesn't get talked about. I believe Javon is going to have a breakout season this season, okay? I believe he'll be probably on like that third team All-SEC list if everything is right. I believe a couple of these cornerbacks, right, which was our weakness, these guys are going to show up and show out. They remember last year they got tortured. They're going to show up and show out this year, okay? So, that's just me. That's what I believe. Safety spot, Bryce Anderson. And also Marcus Ratcliffe. I believe these guys are going to be some shutdown safeties. All right? They have Jordan Lockhart at the safety position as well. But another one that continuously not get talked about and kind of pretty much overlooked because he was in that 2022 class as well, is Jared Kerr. I don't believe a lot of people looking at Jared Kerr. Jared Kerr will be good enough to go in like that 5th or 6th round. Okay, maybe the 7th. But Jared Kerr is good also. Okay, he's not your starter type. You draft Jared Kerr to the NFL team, you're gonna make some money. Okay, he's good. Not a lot of people talk about him, and that's what I hate. But he's good. He's good, man. He's doing good. Okay? So that should be all of your starting lineup of guys. And like I say, once again, I have Texas A&M going 11-1. In that first game against UTSA, look, guys, I get it. Jeff Traylor, he has so many ties to Texas A&M, man. This is a shame. And he did go for that interview. You know, he went for that head coaching role at Texas A&M. And I believe he was like the number 2 guy. But, you know, unfortunately, you know, hey, man, the spot was given to Mike Elko. He's going to come in there with a bit of a chip on his shoulder. And he's going to tell everybody about how he didn't get the job and, you know, stuff like that. What I'm going to tell you is this here. Although Jeff Traylor has connections to Texas A&M, that doesn't have nothing to do with the score of this football game. The score of this football game will be 55-10. Okay? I believe Texas A&M will score early, and I believe they will score a lot of points early. All right, so I'm going to say this again. That predicted score for me would be 55-10. You can bookmark it, You can write it down. You can do whatever you need to do. I believe it will be at least about 270, maybe 275 passing yards from Marcel Reed. Maybe like 100, from the other two quarterbacks who's going to come in behind him. But I'm going to say about 270 passing yards from Marcel Reed, 3 touchdowns, 2 in the air, 1 on the ground. I'm going to say that, okay, 275. I'm going to say about 200 yards rushing from, Le'Veon Moss. That will probably have about, I want to say 200, but I'm going to say a bit over 200. I'm going to say probably about 250. I'm going to say about a good 105 from Le'Veon Moss is going to be added in there, and he's going to have about 1 touchdown. I believe Reuben Owens has a good day at about 65 with 1 touchdown, and I believe Amari Daniels possibly have at least 1 touchdown. So what I said, about 6 touchdowns, right? Think about what I said. So 3 from Marcel Reed, 4 rushing touchdowns, okay? So that leaves it at 7, 14, 21, right? 21 plus 21 is 42. I think that's all the touchdowns that you get from the starters, okay? That's me. And if that's 6 touchdowns, that's about 42 points. You're going to get more than 42 points. I'm going to say this once again. You're going to see more than 42 points. It's going to be at about 55 to 10, okay? And those other touchdowns are going to come from the backup guys, all right, and which is going to be Norm Good, all right. So, guys, that is it, okay? That is all I have for you. Once again, I thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm going to always continuously say I'm back, baby, I'm back. I will have another show for you guys on tomorrow. I'm going to get into a bit more about Conroe football, pretty much after the games, and my son plays on JV. So when I make these Wednesday podcasts, it'll be after the game, of course, but it's going to be mainly about what my son done in the game, and stuff like that, all right? And it's going to be mainly about Conroe's JV team. And then on Friday night, right, if everything goes right, because I hardly have anything planned on Fridays ever, if everything goes right, I'll be able to speak a bit more about the varsity football team and what they done, and stuff like that. All right? So you guys be looking for that, man. Once again, I love all of you. Thank you guys for tuning into the show, and just like how we do always, all right? #Gig'em Aggies.